University, I shall now proceed with the conferment of an honorary degree. Would Warrick John Couch please come forward? The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Pat Walsh, will read the citation.
Chancellor, Professor Warrick Couch is a distinguished astrophysicist with an outstanding academic record. He played a crucial role in the discovery that the universe is expanding at an accelerating rate and has led many other major research projects to observe stars, galaxies, and clusters of galaxies. Warrick Couch's fascination with the stars began at Victoria University in the 1970s, where he completed a Bachelor of Science in Physics with first-class honours in 1976 and a Master of Science the following year. He then left our shores to pursue a PhD at the Australian National University, where he investigated the colour evolution of galaxies in clusters. In 1989, after work as a postdoctoral fellow in the UK, he began as a lecturer in the School of Physics at the University of New South Wales. Since then, his research has produced 215 journal articles and generated nearly 25,000 citations by other researchers, an achievement that places Warrick Couch in the top 0.5% of his field, earning him worldwide recognition as a high citation researcher. Using optical telescopes based both on Earth and in space, Warrick Couch has participated in several major observational research projects. The best known of these is the significant discovery that the universe is expanding at an accelerating rate, a finding that astonished astrophysicists at the turn of the millennium. The three scientists who led this project were awarded the 2011 Nobel Prize in Physics, a ceremony which Warrick Couch attended in recognition of his role in the discovery. His contribution to the field of astrophysics research has been acknowledged with a number of accolades, including the Australian Citation Laureate Award, the 2007 Gruber Prize in Cosmology, and the Royal Astronomical Society Group Achievement Award. In Australia, Warrick Couch has assisted the development of astronomical research by being involved in the management of ground-based telescopes and sitting on the editorial board of publications of the Astronomical Society of Australia. Last year, Warrick Couch was appointed Distinguished Professor and Director of the Centre for Astrophysics and Supercomputing at Melbourne's Swinburne University of Technology. He leads more than 60 research staff and PhD students in one of Australia's most highly rated astrophysics research centres. Moreover, he is widely praised for his generous support of young career researchers and his colleagues. Warrick Couch is an internationally celebrated astrophysicist who has illuminated our knowledge of the universe by interpreting what is written in the night skies. Victoria University is very proud to be honouring such a graduate with our highest honour. Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you Warrick John Couch, Master of Science, Doctor of Philosophy in the Australian National University, Fellow of the Australian Academy of Science, Fellow of the Astronomical Society of Australia, Professorial Fellow of the Australian Research Council, for the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, in this university.
By the authority of Victoria University of Wellington, I, Ian McKinnon, Chancellor, now confer on Warrick John Couch the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
It's now my pleasure to invite Professor Warrick Couch to give his graduation address.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, staff of the university, distinguished guests, and most importantly, graduands, as well as proud parents, family members, and friends of the graduands. I'm delighted to join you as a fellow graduand here tonight, and am deeply honoured and flattered to be recognised in this way by the award of an Honorary Doctor of Science. For me, being here at this graduation ceremony is like having gone full circle on a journey that started 37 years ago when I received my first degree from this university, a Bachelor of Science. It is wonderful to see the big occasion traditions have been maintained, as it should be for what is one of the most positive events in the life of a university. It's a real win-win-win situation that students, parents, and the academic staff can all in different ways feel very proud of and celebrate academic achievement and excellence. As I'm sure is the case with most of you here, my parents played a vital role throughout my education, through their encouragement, guidance, and emotional and financial support while a student. I distinctly remember how proud they were at my first graduation ceremony, even if they were somewhat disappointed that I did not get my hair cut for the occasion, persisting instead with shoulder length here. And despite the best laid plans, it is a shame that they both cannot be here tonight with my mum admitted to hospital just yesterday. I know how very disappointed she'll be to miss this great event tonight. Thinking back to that graduation ceremony in 1975, as well as the excitement, of course, there was also some cause for reflection. In my case, it was the wonderment of the transformation that had taken place over the previous 3 years, that I'd gone from a rather mediocre physics student at high school to one who'd become very passionate about and inspired by the subject and wanted to study more of it. This was not the outcome I had expected, but the excellent training and thorough grounding I got in physics provided the important platform to go into the big wide world and have a successful and thoroughly enjoyable career in research and academia. I'll be forever indebted to the many outstanding, dedicated, and sometimes quite eccentric lecturers here at Vic. Some of those mathematicians were really weird people, but never mind. They were great teachers, but I should particularly mention two of my physics teachers, Professors Joe Trodal and Dennis Sullivan. They deserve a special mention for turning me on to astrophysics and being such wonderful mentors, and I'm just delighted to have met them here tonight. Now to the words of wisdom part of my speech. I just mentioned the very important platform that Vic provided from what my future career was launched. This was built on the knowledge and scientific training I acquired during my undergraduate studies. In graduating tonight, these are assets you all possess and will equip you equally well to go out into the big wide world. Knowledge is a very empowering thing. It is what makes you an expert in your particular field. It allows you to make sound judgments and decisions in a job situation. It is the driver for inventiveness, innovation, and research. But in having it, it is important that you know its boundaries and unlimited capacity to change at a remarkable rate. In addition, you have an important role in defending it. Let me spell this out. I think it is extremely important not to fall into the trap of thinking, I've now finished my degree, and the knowledge I have at this point will do me just fine for the rest of my career and my lifetime. You must remain open to new knowledge and the fact that our understanding in many areas will change dramatically over timescales as short as a few years, with some great surprises along the way. Also, be equally aware of the areas where our knowledge is very scant, if not non-existent. We need to be very mindful and honest about such shortcomings. My field of astrophysics, and particularly cosmology, is rich in examples of falling into these traps. The recent reclassification of Pluto is a classic one. There was a worldwide uproar when Pluto was demoted from a planet to a dwarf planet. The main catch cry being that we all learned at school that Pluto was a planet. So why change that now? The reason is very simple. Our knowledge of the solar system has moved on to the point where now it is very clear that Pluto is very different to the other planets, and more correctly belongs to the family of dwarf planets that also orbit the Sun. A second example is my scientific journey in the field of cosmology. Even if I'm going way back before my time, an interesting place to start here was with Einstein, who, as we know, made many monumental contributions to physics. One of those was his theory of general relativity, which quite naturally predicted that the universe was expanding. However, Einstein rejected such a solution since the standard thinking at the time, this is back in 1916, was the universe was static, that everything in it was stationary. To invalidate the expanding universe solution to his equations, he inserted an additional fudge term, a rather naughty thing to do. 15 years later, Hubble discovered observationally that the universe was expanding, causing Einstein to rue that his rejection of the expanding universe solution and insertion of this fudge term was his greatest blunder. No wonder he somewhat darkly commented, "As our circle of knowledge expands, so does the circumference of darkness surrounding it." With the universe found to be expanding, it was then assumed that the expansion would slow down over time due to the action of gravity, which being an attractive force would resist the outward motion. This was the firmly entrenched worldview in the late 80s when I became involved in a project that attempted to measure this rate of slowdown directly, using very distant exploding stars, what we call supernovae. We never questioned the slowdown, but rather were interested in how severe it was, since this would determine the fate of the universe in terms of whether it would keep expanding forever or would eventually grind to a halt and then collapse in on itself. After 8 years of hard work, we finally amassed enough data to make a meaningful measurement, but the result shocked us. The data were telling us the universe's expansion was actually speeding up, not slowing down. How could this be? Had we made a serious mistake? We struggled with these possibilities for several years. A second research team had also been doing the same experiment and got the same result. So with serious reservations still lingering, both teams published their results, which were greeted by considerable caution and even skepticism by the astrophysical world. But then as time went by, they became increasingly accepted as further independent checks and experiments confirmed them to be correct, to the point that last year, the leaders of the two teams were awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics, as we just heard. While this discovery that the expansion of the universe was accelerating was a massive, unexpected shift in our understanding, and therefore a great triumph, it puts us in a really ugly place in highlighting our level of ignorance about the physical universe. Indeed, the award of the Nobel Prize is probably the very first in physics that has been awarded for the discovery of a mystery. Specifically, we have no idea what is driving the acceleration, choosing instead to label it euphemistically dark energy. This is a major embarrassment to physics right now, and I suspect for many years to come. To my second and final point about the responsibility you have as defenders of the knowledge and practices you've acquired throughout your education. Here all I want to say is that unfortunately these days there's so much negative commentary, misinformation and plain ignorance that appears in the media and in Australia at least, that comes from politicians on issues of fundamental importance to us as a society. While I'm sure all of you have very effective nonsense filters, sadly a significant fraction of the population don't. As the saying goes, if you think education is expensive, what is the cost of ignorance? So I think it's incumbent upon all of us to not just use and apply our knowledge in our jobs and everyday life, but also to be effective communicators of it, be it via written or verbal means or the ever-expanding cyberspace. Just to be able to articulate clearly in simple, plain language what you do in your field of expertise and why it is important, even if just to your family and friends is a very good start. Also, if you have a good news story about some major advance, some new discovery, or a new invention in your field, then tell people about it. We all too often hear about the failures and setbacks in our disciplines and too little about the successes, of which there are many. In conclusion, I'd like to encourage you to do the following three things. May you really enjoy this special time. Celebrate your graduation well and celebrate it hard. Show your appreciation to all those who support and encourage you through your studies, particularly your parents. Be good ambassadors for your discipline and also for your university. I offer you my warmest congratulations on your success and best wishes for your future, be it in going out into the workforce, perhaps doing further study, or maybe something completely different. Thank you very much.